Yeah, firstly, let me introduce myself. My name is Blue, as Miss Yang just said, and today's workshop, just let me get it ready to share. So let me share my screen with everybody. One moment, please. Make sure I've shared the sound as well so you can hear clearly. I hope everyone around Vietnam can hear me. Tell me to slow down if I need to slow down. Tell me to speed up if I'm going too slow. Okay. But today's workshop, for the next 90 minutes, 2 hours, we'll be focusing on classroom management. So for those of you who haven't got Padlet in front of you, here are the questions. Okay. Could not access the link. Let me share that link again. Here you are. Try that, Trung Chu. What I will do right now is I will share the Padlet to see what people are writing. So let me share that screen with you, everybody. It's looking really good. So let's have a look at it right now. So, yeah, again, many of the problems the same. What difficulties do you face? Noisy classrooms, less attention, lack of space. Yes, that's a good one. Lack of space. What grades do you struggle with? Grade 1 again, grade 2. So you're talking those young learners, grade 5 there as well. Students speak too soft, although I asked them to speak louder thousands of times. Different students have different levels of English. Yeah, guys, you are saying everything that I thought you would say in terms of your classroom issues. And as you can imagine, all of these issues lead to responsive and passive students. Students that don't learn because maybe they don't understand. Maybe they don't get the opportunity to speak because there's too many students in the classroom. So all of these issues are related and can be connected through good classroom management. Let's have a look at a few more. What do you do to get their attention? Songs and games. Wonderful. Some lovely ideas there, everyone. You may stop writing on the Padlet and we'll go back to my screen. So let's jump back. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for your patience. Yeah, a few internet issues this morning, but thank you for staying with me. So let me get the chat ready so I can see everybody's comments. But let's just share some common issues that you just wrote in the Padlet. So let me share now with you. Blah, blah, blah. Let's brainstorm. Number 1. There we go. Follow the Padlet link. We did that. Let's share. Number 1, lack of attention and focus. A number of you wrote that in the Padlet. A very common issue, especially if they are having difficulty understanding the English in the classroom. Maybe they're low level, okay? And that will lead to lack of attention and certainly a lack of focus. Secondly, students are tired, bored. We know here in Vietnam, students have it tough, okay? School days are long. If you've got your students in that 5th period, at the end of the day, maybe they're lacking energy that you need to somehow manage in order to get the best out of your students and sort of get them enthused and engaged in your lesson. They're restricted by material or the curriculum. This is very common, where maybe there's something you want to teach, but as a teacher, as an educator, you are under pressure to deliver something else, the curriculum, which again can lead to problems in the classroom, where you see there's an English problem that needs to be resolved, but maybe you don't have the time or you're not allowed to sort of focus on it because there's something else you need to focus on. It's a big issue, very common problem. The next one, of course, large class size. Again, welcome to Vietnam. We know this is an issue where maybe it would be lovely if you had 15 to 20 students, but no, in your primary class, in your secondary class, you have 35, 40 students. It's difficult with the lack of size and the sheer amount of students. Maybe it's their use of their tiếng Việt. Maybe they're speaking more Vietnamese than they are English. What can we do to make this a non-issue? It comes back to classroom management and the teacher. Okay, more English, less Vietnamese. They don't want to talk. Maybe they're reluctant to speak English. Maybe it's because they're lazy. Maybe it's because they lack confidence or energy. So that one is certainly related to another number of these problems. And maybe there's just a lack of routine or structure in your classroom. Again, that's a key point of classroom management, making sure the students are familiar with your routine so they know what's going to happen next. Maybe it's a different game, it's a different activity, okay, but they know sort of the routine in your class and they feel comfortable with it. That will help you a lot. So those are some common issues that you wrote now on the Padlet that we're going to focus on now. So the first thing is creating rules. So I need your help here, everybody. This is really important. In your class, how many rules are appropriate? How many should you make? How many should you create for your students? Should the emphasis, should the importance be on procedures? Okay, sit down, be quiet, do your homework, or should it be on behavior? Listen more, okay, focus on the teacher. So procedures, behavior, or let's be honest, a mixture of them both of them. So here's a question, please answer it in the chat. Who makes the rules in your class? Please chat away, everyone. Please type. Who makes the rules in your classroom? Are there rules in your classroom? Who makes these rules? Teacher makes the rules. Teacher. Both teacher and students. Students make first. That's interesting. Teacher. Yeah, I like the answer that a number of you are coming back with, and that is both. If you can do that, creating classroom rules, creating a classroom contract. Now, this is, of course, led by the teacher. Of course it is. But get your students on your side by creating their own rules and obligations. So at the start of your school year, maybe you know you're going to see this class for the next 32 weeks. Okay, you need to understand each other. You need to understand the rules that you expect from them and what they expect from themselves. So what I would do at the beginning of my class, for the beginning of the school year, is I would collaborate with the students and I would make them come up with the rules and a contract. I've seen it in many Vietnamese classrooms that I have visited over the years. It's beautiful, it's big, it's in the corner of the room, and it's got the signatures of each student on, and it's like 10 rules what students can and should not do. And what's beautiful about this is it makes the students accountable for their own behavior and breaking their own rules. And it also allows the teacher to take a step back because now the students are managing one another and they are almost policing one another's behavior because they know the rules are there and they don't want anybody to break the rules. They're proud of the rules that they set. So again, it's a great idea in your classroom. It's fun, it's creative, it's engaging, and it gets the students fully understood on what is acceptable and what they should and should not be doing. So I want you to imagine you're a student in your class. Via the chat box, very quickly, tell me a rule that you would include in your classroom. Let's have a look. What rule? Just tell me one, that's fine. A rule that you would include in your classroom. Please type away, everybody. Again, if you can't type, take this moment to discuss with the people around you. I know a number of you are joining us in a big room with colleagues and other teachers. So please, I encourage you to chat to each other. Keep your hands and feet to yourself, says Minduk. Come nói tiếng Việt, says someone from Hanoi. One speaker only. I like that. One voice in the classroom, whether it be the teacher or the student that you should be listening to. Very good point. Raise your hand when you want to share. Be police. I like that. Police each other. Yeah, it's again, it creates responsibility. Be happy. I like that. And I like be happy because we're talking about classroom rules here, but positivity and being happy is really important. I like that one. Keep silent, says Yamin. Pay attention, never give up, have fun. I love some of these positive rules that would go into your contract. Guys, you've got it. You've got the idea. I'm hoping that many of you implement this idea already. Okay, it's a really good idea. It's a strong idea, and it gets your students on your side. So everybody loves a closed activity. So let's do one now very quickly. I will read. Feel free to type away or chat away what you think the missing words are. So here we go. Classroom rules. The first step towards effective classroom management is to establish a solid focus, says Sun. Focus. We've got a solid. Focus is a verb, to focus. So a solid, we're looking for a noun here. A solid what? The base of something. Friendship is good. I like that. Guys, the answer is solid foundation. Based on R and R. Framework is good. Framework it could be. A solid framework is a good guess, certainly. Rules and what? Rules and rules. What could it be, everyone? We've got rules, so you're 50% there. Routine. Rules and routines. Thank you. I missed your name, but well done. Once rules and routines are established, the teacher can then something. We've got two letters there. So 2 words. It could be a phrasal verb. Well done, whoever said that. Jiang, Nguyen, Viet, Yaman, set up. Well done. And manage activities using management techniques for getting A. What could A be, everybody? Attention, again, giving effective instructions, setting up and GW. Group work, says Hanvar. Grow up, says Yang. Setting up group work, well done. And maintaining something and something. What do we think, everybody? What can we maintain? If we have good classroom management, again, that word attention and motivation, engagement, enthusiasm. Yeah, this basically, everybody, is the basis of today's workshop. Strong classroom management can bring you these things. Make your lesson flow, students interact, and it makes lesson activity A to B to C to D run so smooth. And that's what we're looking for, isn't it, in our classrooms? So everyone, here's 2 words for you. Stirrers and settlers. Do these 2 words mean anything to you guys? We have stir, and we have here sister, settle. Do these words mean anything to you? Speak slowly, please. Yes, Pa, I will. Stir and settle. Do these words mean anything to you? Yeah, says Anfong. So let's take a look, shall we? What do these words mean? Stir and settle. Stirrers. What are stirrers? Stirrers are games, activities, anything in your class that incorporates energy, maybe some TPR, some total physical response, student movement, okay, where they're going to engage with one another, maybe move around the classroom, but they're going to do some kind of physical movement activity, chatting to each other, that's going to bring lots of energy to your classroom. So you use these maybe at the beginning of a lesson when students feel tired and you want to bring the energy level up. And they're a good way to sort of grab students' attention. So my stirrers at the beginning of this classroom management, number one, I made mistakes. Number two, I asked you to interact with me about me. Number three, I told you about my missing dog, Rex. How many times can you spot him? So some kind of energized activities that might create a lively atmosphere if they are done in your classroom, not online. And again, they might be discussions, games, role plays, but anything that might create that loud, lively atmosphere in your classroom. And then we have settlers. Settlers. What are settlers? Just be quiet. I'm trying to relax. I'm very sorry about that. Well, can you tell me what settlers are? Sure, I can do that. But when I finish, you must... Okay, no problem. We will. But yeah, settlers, everybody. Settlers. What do we think settlers are? Now, settlers are activities or tasks that are used to calm students, relax them. Maybe you've just played an energetic game in your classroom. Now you want your students to sit down, relax, maybe do some workbook exercise or some writing. Again, these are used in contrast to stirrers, where maybe you just want to bring the energy level down and make people quiet or focus on something in your lesson, maybe a listening activity. And they help to maintain students' attention, keep them attentive, sort of relax them. So stirrers and settlers are a key point of classroom management because you have to know when your students need that energy or where maybe they need less energy and brought down again. So have a look at these stirrers and settlers now. Which activities are stirrers and which are settlers? I'm not going to make you do this, but just take a look and maybe write one in the chat that you think is a stirrer or one in the chat that you think is a settler. Okay. So there's a number of different things in the classroom here. Which ones do you think are energetic stirrers or relaxing settlers? Let's give an example. Let's say singing. I pointed out singing. So yeah, Trung Kyo has just put reading. What do we think about reading? Is that a stirrer or settler? Or could it be both? Yeah, so singing, of course, would be a stirrer, wouldn't it? Energetic classroom. But with reading, reading's a very interesting one because, again, you can do some self-reading, some reading by yourself, or maybe some group reading out aloud where you can incorporate a game activity and it becomes a stirrer. So again, it depends what you want in your classroom. But when you think about the organization of your lesson plan, consider what activities are energetic stirrers and which ones are relaxing settlers, because it's really important in the classroom to manage them well and make sure you have a nice balance between one another. So, stirrers and settlers. Wonderful, Jewel Hop. Stirrers, games, videos, DVD, races. Yeah, wonderful. Really good. Thank you. Stirrers and settlers. Again, consider, do you have a nice balance between the two? And as I mentioned, make sure within your lesson plan, there's a good mixture and how you mix them together. So we're going to practice that now. A quick task. I've got a lesson plan right here. Here we go. Here's my lesson plan. In the chat, can you just order this how you would have it in your classroom? I've highlighted the first letter, OVWYS. So in the chat, just put the letter, which one you would do first, second, third, fourth, fifth. Again, there's no wrong answer here. It's just interesting to see what your structure would be in order to have a stirrer, settler, settler, stirrer. How would you mix it up? So we've got someone here, YO. So you do the YouTube dance video first. That makes sense. Get them energized. And again, the next person is exactly the same. Many people would start with the YouTube dance video. How would people end? S. Student workbook at the end. That's interesting. Before the end of the lesson, you want everybody to be relaxed before they leave the room. Many of you are starting with the YouTube video, ending with the student workbook. Very interesting. Again, there's no wrong answer. It's just interesting to see what approach you would take. And many of you have put the same as what I would do. Yeah. You've got a speaking activity in the middle there with their opinion sharing. But you start with the energetic dance, finish with the student book focused. Yeah, wonderful. Good ideas. Thank you, everybody. So yeah, consider students and activities when it comes to up and energetic, balanced, relaxed, come back down. Really important. So everybody, I'm going to be quiet now. Please read this slide. Second sentence. Please answer my question. No, you can't hear anything. I know you can't. Can anyone answer the question for that second jumbled up sentence? England, says Charles. Thank you, Charles. You are the first. So, what does the second sentence say? In the chat. Would you like to visit my country? No. Almost. It asks you to write in the chat a country that you would like to visit. Okay, in the chat, tell me a country you'd like to visit. Thank you, Haifeng. You're not Haifeng, are you? You're from Haifeng, I guess. I don't know. But yeah, you're correct. In the chat, tell me a country you would like to visit. America. I've had England. I've had America. Please answer my question. China. Singapore. Paris. Hanoi. Cities, not countries. Almost. France, Vietnam. Singapore, England. Wonderful. So that leads me on to my next point, everybody. Think of ways that you can transition. So when I say transition, of course, you're moving from activity A to activity B. What can you do so in between you maintain your students' attention? I tried maintaining your attention by saying nothing and having you figure out what I wanted you to do. Okay, so in your classroom, how can you transition from one activity to another? Of course, you need to get your students' attention. You've just done the YouTube dance. You've just played a game. They're very energized. They're very active. But now you want them to settle and relax because you want to do the student book with them. How do you sort of transition from them around the classroom to getting 30 students sat back down, focused, and ready to move on to the next thing? Now, this is really important because in your class, you could lose 2 or 3 minutes just trying to get your students ready to focus again. So how do you do it? What do you do in your classroom to get them ready? Okay, teacher, oh, teacher's ready. I'm ready. How? What do you do? Show pictures, flashcards, good idea. Sounds, yeah. Do you play a certain sound? They know that sound means get ready, teacher's ready. That's a good one. Show pictures or posters. Yeah, some good ideas, guys. A mini game. That's interesting, HQ, because you've just played a game and now you want to do something else, but you play a mini game to transition. Very interesting. But actually, a very good point, which we will look at later. Pictures, play a mini game, body language, clapping as well. Wonderful. TPR. So, what I like to do is some instruction dictation. So I will dictate exactly what I want my students to do. So I'm going to do that now for you. If you have a pen and paper, please use it. If you don't, just listen. But I would like you to draw a table. And the table is 5 squares by 3 squares. Okay, so there's 5 squares going down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And 3 squares going across. 5 by 3. Draw a quick table, and then I would give you the words that I want you to write in my table. So basically, I'm settling back down, and I'm actually getting them to fully listen to my instructions, because they need my instructions to do the next part of the lesson. So I would say, students, in box number 1, column 1, row 1. Again, I might introduce the words column and row. I would like you to write the word country. So they're there thinking, how do I spell country? Country, how do you spell country? So you might spell country, make it some writing dictation, but mostly it's just instruction dictation. Second column, first row, can you write the word technique? So that's what we would do, write the word technique. Third column, first row, write the word purpose. And again, they discuss, they make sure they're doing the right thing. And then I will show them what we are doing. I will show them the table or anything that you might be looking at next in your book or in your lesson. So I basically get them to prepare as part of my transition. And so here's a table looking at different countries and what techniques they use. So here, for example, you can see South Korea. Someone mentioned it, clapping, maybe a short song, but the strong is almost like an instruction that says, hey, we need to be ready and focused. Okay, it means the change of activity. This country, what country is that one, guys? The second one. I put a flag there, have a guess. What country is that second one? The first flag, second. It's a beautiful flag. It is, of course, the beautiful country of the Philippines. And they do a lot of finger clicking. Okay, lots of finger clicking with chanting to make sure that the students are ready to move on. What about that third country? The second flag. What do we have? Thailand. Yes, of course. And again, it's all very similar. Some kind of stop, look, listen instructions, physical movement. And again, this is very general. Of course, not every teacher does this. But again, it's a number of techniques used in different countries by a number of different educators. And the final country, Indonesia. Well done, Jal. Indonesia. And they use instruments. Okay, the tambourine. Tambourine sound means students must be ready to focus on the next piece of work. So a huge part of classroom management is transitioning, because without transitioning, you're going to waste a number of minutes in your classroom, and that can be a big, big problem. So we're going to play a game right now, and this game is it's in the classroom, it would be a stirrer, okay? But when we play this game now, imagine you are in the classroom with a whiteboard, your students are writing answers on a board or paper, but we have to play it online. So I hope when we play it online, you can see how it would work in your classroom. Now, before we play this game, I'm going to make sure my sound is working, because it wasn't working earlier for the other. There we go. Share sound. Okay. Share my screen again. Now, let me explain. I'll ask you one question. You'll write your answer in the chat. Okay? So you're going to write your answer to my question in the chat box. When I say send, you'll send your answer to the rest of the chat. Okay? But only when I say send, not before. If your answer is unique and different to everyone else's answer you see in the chat, you win 1 point. Now, of course, we have over 1,000, 2,000 people in the chat. In your classroom, you're going to have 25, 30 students. So today in the chat, you don't have to look at everybody's answer. Just look at the answers closest to yours. If you see your answer again, no points. If you don't see your answer is unique, you get 1 point. Okay. So there's the chat box. So remember how to chat to me. Okay.
Psst, Blue. Blue.
Easy guy now.
Yeah,
but basically, it's going to give you the instructions. You're going to write your answer.
I am a pirate. Thank you very much. Okay. Thank you. Good.
But
chat. There you go.
You're going to type your answer, but don't press send until I
And basically, Blue's going to ask you a question. For example,
5,
name
4,
a yellow
3,
fruit.
2, 1.
So you're going to type your answer. So here's my answer.
Do not send your answer before the teacher tells you to. Right. Let's.
And then when Blue says 5.
So here's question 1. Let me get the chat ready so I can see it. Remember, write your answer. Do not send your answer. Here we go. Name something you associate with Vietnam. Again, don't send your answer yet. Just type it, but don't send. Wait for me to count you down. Don't send your answer. Okay. Guys, I'm going to do some ICQs here, some instruction checking questions. Okay. Stop. Send in your answers. Stop. Right. I want you to send your answer. When? When do I want you to send your answer? Now? I want you to send your answer when I count down 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Send. Okay. So let's try this again. Okay, next question. Just write one answer as well, but wait for me to tell you to send. Okay. Name an adjective that has 3 syllables. Nope, don't send your answer. Hot has 1 syllable. Okay, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, send. Again, if your answer is the same as someone else you see, I see beautiful many times, wonderful many times. If your answer is different, you would get 1 point in the classroom. Again, this is a really fun game. They want to be unique. It expands their vocabulary. They're thinking of different words. It's easy to think of beautiful, but can they think of any other adjectives that have 3 syllables? Okay. So again, be unique. Right, let's try one more game. Hopefully you'll understand these instructions. Give me a clue. So for this game, I need a volunteer. So I need someone in the chat to volunteer, please. Anybody? I need a volunteer in the chat. Someone say, yes, Mr. Blue. I will. Me, thank you. Okay, I've got one there. Chiu Hop and Hung In. Okay, Hung In. Okay, I've got two people. It might be Bang and Hung In. Let me explain the rules. But you are my volunteers, my two volunteers. Okay. So in this game, you two will close your eyes. I trust you. I hope. I trust you. Close your eyes. The rest of you, I will show you a picture. Okay. But you two volunteers, keep your eyes closed. Everybody, when you see the picture, you will type a one-word clue to the two people who volunteered to close their eyes. Okay. And then volunteers, Bang and who is it? Hung In. I will ask you to open your eyes and you will look at the one-word clues in the chat and you will try to guess what the picture was. Okay. Let's give an example. Okay. So example, I'm going to show a picture of a banana. Everybody in the chat will write a one-word clue. Do not write banana. So you might write fruit, yellow, monkey. And what this does is it allows your students to think of other words and not just the easy words. Because if I showed you a banana, everybody would write fruit, yellow, and monkey. So maybe you need to expand and think of different words to help the person who is guessing. So let's try this, okay? Good luck. I hope it works. So my two volunteers, can you close your eyes, please? I will tell you when to open your eyes. So everybody else, can you write a one-word clue for this picture? See, again, all the same kind of words. Yeah. Thank you. Volunteers, can you open your eyes? Have a look at the clues in the chat. We have students, infrastructure. That's good. Study, place, teacher. My two volunteers, can you write what you think the word is? Yes, Bang, school. In school. Yes, well done. You've got it. So let's try one more. So ladies, gentlemen, if you can close your eyes again. And you get the idea. Most of you, many of you put students and study, these kind of same words. But in the classroom, when you play this, you want to see what other words they can think of that they connect to school. So it's a really good way to encourage them to expand the vocab that they already have. So let's try one more. Close your eyes, please, ladies. Okay. Write your one-word clue, everybody. Chocolate, that's nice. And volunteers, open your eyes. Have a look at the clues. We've got money. Money. Heart, happy. Happy, happy. Heart, feeling, hug, great, kiss, verb. Yeah, well done. I just saw the answer. The answer was love, of course. So again, I hope you see those two games and the value of those two games in terms of expanding vocabulary and encouraging students to think bigger than what they are already. Again, maybe they're not working perfectly online, as an example, but in your classroom, they are wonderful vocab building activities to sort of unearth vocab that your students already have in there. And it's a really creative and fun game. So let's talk about games and classroom management. They're a great way to manage your classroom. And why? Because they lend themselves to the flow of your lesson. So someone in the chat earlier said mini games are a good way to transition. Yeah, they really are. You're not playing a game maybe for an activity, but you're playing a game as a management technique. We'll look at that in a moment. Basically, you're using the game as a reward, as an incentive system to be organized. So you've just played a game, everyone is everywhere crazy, and you want their attention. Put the game on the board. Oh, if I sit nicely, I'm ready, teacher will choose me. And that's the beauty of it. If they can see that you want them to be ready, there's a game incorporated into them being ready, it really does allow you to transition a lot smoother. A good example of this is this game here. Again, this is a management game. It's a classroom management game. And basically, you can see they pick a number and they have to find the treasure. Okay. And I wouldn't play this as a game. It's more just managing my class. Well done, Bao. You are ready. Choose a number. Well done, Zhang. You are ready. Choose a number. And the students know this, and they know that if they are ready and attentive and listening to their teacher, they will choose a box. And let's choose some numbers here. Someone give me a number. 15, I saw. 15, way, well done. 19. Let's see, 19. 8, I saw. I put a number of boxes in. 8, there isn't one. But you get the idea. And what you can even do is you can change this template. Maybe you can include some bombs on there, so where you lose some treasure. Or maybe you include a generous princess, where you have some treasure, but you're going to give the treasure to somebody else. So it's a really nice management game that will really help you with your transitions. And with these games, I have them on a Google Drive, and I will happily share them at the end of this session. Share you the link. And there's a number of PowerPoint templates that you can change in your classroom that will really help you with your classroom management. Okay, so there's one good example. So here's a lesson. I'm teaching about toys, okay, in my lesson. And I've got the vocab right there. I've got, you know, your car, doll, robot, ball, teddy bear. Drilling. Drilling new vocabulary. Ooh. It can be pretty boring, can't it? By its very nature, drilling is repetitive. That's what it is. You drill, you repeat. But it's pretty boring, isn't it? Especially if you're a student. The problem with drilling is it can be a very passive activity where students are repeating what you're saying. Teacher says, toy. Student says, toy. But they're not really grasping the language. They're not grasping the enunciation, the pronunciation, the skill, the delivery. They're just repeating nothing. So how can we make drilling more engaging, more fun, in order to maintain attention and focus? And again, it comes down to gamifying that experience. Okay, so here's one I use. Here's the ice creams. We've got 2 teams in my classroom. Team A, Team B, split down the middle. And again, I'm going to drill the vocabulary for today's lesson. And well done, Team A. That was really good. Scoop of ice cream to you. Well done, Team 1 again. You were the best. Well done, Team 1 again. You were the best. Team 2, you need to wake up. Team 2, get it? And of course, you can see the scoops of ice cream is a race right to the top. There you go. And again, the beauty of this is it allows you to control and manage the speed of your class. You know that you want to drill these words for the next 10 minutes. They're new words. They're not easy words. And you really want your students to feel comfortable knowing them, pronouncing them. If you can incorporate drilling into some kind of PowerPoint management game, it doesn't have to be PowerPoint. This is just an example online. It could be a whiteboard, a blackboard, where you just have 100% at the top, students race to top 100%. A mountain, top of the mountain. Okay, a football goal, kick the ball into the goal. Anything like that that shows progress to a finish is a really nice way of keeping your students' attention when trying to drill new vocabulary. And again, I will share these at the end of the session with you. So yeah, games, wonderful. Everybody loves games. but make sure you use a systematic approach. And when I say systematic approach, what I mean is make your game a reason. Don't just play a game to play a game. Make sure it's part of your lesson that's going to help you to teach. Okay. For example, classroom management, in order to get their attention when transitioning, or maybe when you're drilling and it can be boring, but you want to keep your students' attention. A great way to implement a game. After each activity, after each unit, use it as a reward system, as we've spoken about. And again, you can reward based on a number of factors. Task completion. Teacher, I finished. Well done, Foot. Choose a number. Collaboration. Team 1, you're working really well together. Team 2, Team 3 are still talking, but you are ready. Choose a number. Behavior. Choose a number. Being ready. Choose a number. So again, games are wonderful as a management resource. Use them when you can, everybody. Oh, here's another. Let's choose a box. So I'm going to go to remove a box. Everyone, please write in the chat. What is it? Where is it? And I'm sure most of you will guess from that second box. River, a river. It's not quite a river. And again, you've all got it. It's Halong Bay. Yeah. So again, even something like this, like missing pictures, is a great way to introduce new vocabulary, or even as a review of the vocabulary you just studied. So you've just studied toy, doll, car, put them into this kind of PowerPoint, reveal. Great way to keep their attention. So collaboration. We all are educators. We all are teachers. And one thing that is really important in today's classroom is teamwork and collaboration. You want your students to work together for a number of different reasons. More so, maybe the most important, using their English. You want to give them the opportunity to use their English. And so teams, pairs, a great way to manage their own behavior. Okay. It makes your job easier and it puts the responsibility back onto the students. Comprehension check questions. So maybe you're doing a reading task in your book. Okay. And you want to make sure that not every word is understood, but the main idea is understood. My screen. There we go. 3 teams, A to H, I to Q, R to Z. Z, Z. I'm English, so I'm going to go with Z. Okay. So I'm going to ask you some questions based on the text you will see. Okay. First person to find the answer, type it in the chat. Okay. Yes, I can see you. Thank you, guys. Thank you very much. So here we go. Comprehension check questions. Okay. First question, everybody. Where did ancient Egyptians live? Where did they live? In houses. Trung, you were the first for team T. Well done. In houses. In a house. In houses, yeah. Question 2. What did people hunt in the River Nile? Hunt, River Nile. Hunt, River Nile. Let's scan that text. Crocodiles, and they fished for fish. Well done. They hunted crocodiles and fish. Last question. How did the Egyptians show their daily life? What did they do? How did they show other people their daily life? Kim Hang. Then they painted pictures. They drew. They painted pictures. Yes, of course. So collaboration is key. How can we make something like this a collaborative activity? One thing I see a number of students doing, students, teachers, is they take an activity like this and they make it student to student workbook. Okay, how can we bring it out the student workbook? Get your students to create the questions, okay, and then quiz another team. So you've got team A, team B, team C. You need to write 3 questions based on the text to ask the other teams, okay? And then once you're ready, maybe the teacher takes in the questions and you can play a game again. Again, I will put this and share it at the end with you all. But you're going to give each team a board, and maybe on the board, they're going to write their answer, or to make it more teamwork centric, maybe they can only write 1 letter before they pass the board to a teammate to write the second letter. What color is a banana? Yellow, yellow. Y, pass. E, pass. L, pass. L, pass. So again, they know the answer, but they have to work together to write the answer. Put the answer up, and the first team to put the answer up and say the answer, their car will move to the finish line. Again, this has sound as well. Again, I will share it with you. You're going to go through the reading activity with your class, comprehension check everything through questions. You can manage what you want to tell them as well, maybe new vocabulary, because their car's not going to move until you're ready to ask the next question. So again, anything like this is really good when it comes to a reading comprehension activity in your class. Why? Because the game allows you to slow down. You can go through vocabulary. You can check main idea comprehension. And you're incorporating a game into your management of the task. Collaboration. So again, you're going to use whiteboards. And as I mentioned, maybe they can only write 1 letter each of the answer. So fish, F, pass, I, pass, S, pass, before they reveal their answer. Or maybe you can have 2 team members find the answer, and the other student has to listen in the team and write the answer. You could teamwork it like that. Or you could have a student read the text aloud to their teammates, and the students have to listen to their teammate to write the answer. So there's a number of ways you can incorporate listening and speaking into what is a reading activity. You're incorporating 3 key skills into that one activity in your book. It's fun, it's engaging, they learn new words and practice their pronunciation and listening skills whilst playing a game. So yeah, have a think about that when you see activities like that in your book. How can you make it a lot easier to manage, but also more beneficial for your students' learning aims? Come nói tiếng Việt. And this is a big one, isn't it? Many of you mentioned it in the Padlet at the beginning of this workshop. Too much Vietnamese in the classroom, not enough English. So what do we do with that? How can we deal with too much Vietnamese when really all we want is your students to speak English? Nói tiếng Anh. And now, let me say one thing here, very important. The use of your first language isn't always a bad thing. When it comes to low-level students, it's a problem a number of you mentioned. You've got a classroom of students who understand you. And then you've got 2 or 3 students who think, I'm here, I don't understand. And that's going to have a big effect on their learning, but also their behavior and their attention. So again, if needed, L1 is really good for clarifying instructions in Vietnamese. No problem. No problem. I think it's a really useful tool. okay? And just making sure that students feel confident with what you want them to do because they understand. And that's the key point. If they don't understand, it's not going to work. So if it requires some Vietnamese to make sure everybody in your class understands the activity, use it, okay? And again, that's where maybe the classroom contract can really help you, the classroom rules. Things will be explained in Tiếng Việt, but you're going to be using mostly your English, okay? Yeah, it happens a lot in many situations. Pictures will help, but yeah, use of Vietnamese, it's okay sometimes, but make sure you manage your usage. So, and this is key, the last one there I wrote, be patient. Yeah, just like your management skills with your rules, use of English more will take time. It's not going to magically happen in the first lesson with your grade 1 and 2 students. Okay, this is something you have to build lesson to lesson. So please be patient, but don't always go back to your Vietnamese because you know you can just explain everything. Okay, trust your English, trust your teaching process. Fast finishers. I don't know if anyone mentioned this in the chat, maybe. But yeah, there we go. Mr. Blue, I finished. Now, I'd love your input here, everybody. How about your students in the class who finish a lot faster than the other students? You've always got a few of them in the classroom. Bao, Zhang, Winan, finished. And you've got 30 other students who are only on question 5 of the 10 questions. What do you do to manage those students who are good students, but they finish too quickly? You want them to go a bit slower. What can we do? I'd love to see your ideas before I give you my suggestions. What do you do for really good students who finish work quickly? Yeah, Lang Sun, check others, give more tasks, Tar. Kim Hang, that's good. Say good, offer encouragement. But if they're sitting there for 10 more minutes with nothing to do, what are they going to do? Are they going to start speaking Vietnamese? Are they? Yeah, I like these. Help others. Tar, yeah, wonderful. Help others. You've got it. You've got it. So yeah, that was my number 1. Help a classmate. I love it when I see collaboration with workbook where a student has finished and they will help another student. Keyword, help. Not do it for them, but guide, aid, suggest, but not do it for them. Yeah, so well done, guys. Maybe a classroom chore. This is really good, and it goes back to responsibility. Maybe your blackboard, whiteboard needs wiping down. Okay. Hey, well done, Zhang. You finished. Clean the board. Thank you for helping me. So maybe some classroom chores, some classroom jobs. Read a book. Write a story. I love writing stories, especially when they're using their English, their creativity. So maybe you get them to write a story based on the context of the lesson you just taught. Hey, my lesson was about toys. Write a story about a toy. Tell me about your favorite toy. Tell me about a really expensive toy that you want mum and dad to buy you. Okay, so yeah, read a book, write a story. Complete any unfinished work. If they have anything they need to do it now. Or, again, maybe you want to just to start their homework or finish homework, something like that. Now, that one I do like, because again, in Vietnam, we know that students come to school, they study hard, and they have a lot of homework to do when they go home. If they can have that opportunity, even for 10 minutes, to just get ahead and maybe just finish some homework, it's a great opportunity for them to feel they have the time, they can feel relaxed, and maybe it offers them more free time when they go home. So yeah, finish, begin homework maybe. Help a classmate's a good one. I love that. Or maybe you give them a review. through a crossword. You've got a crossword, fill it in. What did you learn today? So I want you to answer my quick fire questions. Okay, just answer them to yourselves, or maybe put a yes or a no in the chat box to me. Okay, but just answer these questions very quickly. Question 1. That's not question 1. Yes or no? Oh, wait, Rex. So here's question number 1. Do you think your instructions through from the point of view of a student when you plan your lesson? So when you plan your lesson, do you think, what do my students need? Maybe not what they want. What do they need? Yes, some good yeses there. Question 2. Do you give lengthy explanations? Yay or nay? Sometimes. Again, I like sometimes because sometimes they're needed. But again, make sure they're clear. But no. Sometimes. Question number 3. Do you support your instructions with pictures, demonstrations, gestures, where possible? Yes, thanks, guys. Wonderful to hear. Yes. And again, maybe there may be some inclusion of Thingviet in there as well, but making sure you're using context through pictures, body movement, so everything can be understood. Do you ask students to help one another when a task is difficult or new? So maybe it's a complex task or it's unfamiliar. Do you ask your students to help your students? That's interesting, yes, because my background is in language center teaching, okay? And of course, I don't speak Vietnamese. So actually, sometimes I would rely on my students to support the weaker students when it comes to explaining new concepts and new ideas. Okay, so yeah, it's really useful. And another one, do you check that your instructions have been understood before allowing your students to begin? And maybe ask some ICQs. We played that game earlier, which didn't really work. Was that bad classroom management from me? Maybe. Okay. But making sure your instructions are understood before the task begins. Do you check understanding by saying, do you understand? Yes, no, yes. Yes, maybe. Yeah, it's not really the best way and the most effective way to check comprehension. Because students will just, to save face and embarrassment, when you say, do you understand? Yeah. Again, use ICQs. Make sure you give examples. Everything is understood because they have shown you that everything is understood. Do you understand question? It doesn't offer much feedback. You're not going to get much from it, apart from a yes or an unsure face. So let's do a review crossword to finish my session. Okay, I'm going to ask you a question. Please write your answer in the chat. Let's see how much you have focused during my session. Okay, so here's question 1, and it's 3 across. So if you look at 3 across, it's got 3 letters. What's the name of my missing dog? Hung In, paying attention. Cao Bang, paying attention. Lang Sun, thank you. Nguyen, yeah, missing dog is Rex. Thank you very much. Question number 2, 4 across. When you transition, you should always try and maintain the student's Yeah, well done, everyone. Attention. Well done. Number 3. What's my name? Yeah, Blue. Amelia is my family name, my surname. Yeah, my name is Blue, just like the color. Well done. Named after a cowboy, if you remember. Next question. Activities where students will be sat down and relaxed. 7 across. See lots of singular, settler. What about the plural? Wait, I'm waiting to see that S somewhere. Settlement. Yeah, well done. I can see the answer there. Settlers. Yeah. Relaxing activities. Again, you've got a transition. But yeah, bring in the mood back down, relax, focus. You should keep these clear so everybody understands. 1 down. Trung, well done. Cao bang, hung, in, nuing. Instructions. Plural, many. Instructions. Well done. And we've got 2 more, I think. Activities where students will be active, energized. Yeah, well done, everyone. Stirrers. There we go. And the last question, 5 down. What do we think? Students must follow the that they agreed on with the teacher. What must the students follow? We've got rules. Well done. Thank you for going through my review crossword. You clearly listened. Thank you so much. So let's look at today's takeaways from today's session. Number 1, strong classroom management can lead to a successful lesson. Okay. Think of classroom management like your glue. What does glue do? It sticks. You could have the best lesson plan. This is wonderful. Best lesson I have ever come up with. But if there's no glue to stick it together, it will fall apart. And that's classroom management. Rules, repetition. Yeah, you need to make sure that you make rules, but you repeat the rules and it's lesson to lesson. You can't just go changing things. Otherwise, you're going to lose the students because things change. They need that consistency. Okay, it will really help them. Number 3, and this is key. This is very important. It takes time. Good classroom management takes time. It's a foundation to which you build the success of your lesson. Okay, but it does take time. So don't worry if you've got students speaking Ding Viet in lesson 1. If lesson 2, there's less, good job. Don't worry if it takes 2 minutes to transition. In lesson 2, it takes 90 seconds, 1 minute. Good job. Okay, it takes time, but stick to your management rules and routine. So I've got some good news. Thank you, everybody, for your help. But Rex has been located.